and it brings to mind when you go to some of the gourmet stores and you see olive oil infused with garlic or infused with rosemary branches. So the oil, the carrier oil, is actually drawing the properties of whatever you put in it into its
into that carrier
itself.
Well, like our perfect example would be our butter, right? With the
Yes.
flour. So like
Yes.
Dr. Doug just shared the recipe. I haven't tried it yet, but I've heard about it. And so we would use the butter with our flour, even though flour is not a liquid form, we're still getting the benefit of the oil from the flour,
right,
as we draw it out to flavor the butter, and then we make the butter cold and we've got our infused flour butter. So it's the same construct as Dr. Betty was talking about with the rosemary and oil.
And then when you have an herb that the oil comes from, by simply kind of messing with the leaves or kind of rubbing out some of the oils, that's how you can start that process of whatever the carrier that it's in, extracting those oils out. So, I mean, I think the easiest example of that is if you're thinking about a citrus fruit that you have in your hand, like a lemon or an orange or a lime. When you're rubbing that skin or peeling that orange or lime or lemon, those essential oils are literally coming out on your fingers. True. So if you can think about an herb that an oil comes from, like, or a plant that an oil comes from, rosemary, basil, peppermint, you know, you can kind of smell those on those leaves as you continue to rub. And then if you put it into that carrier oil, and a carrier means it just helps to carry that essential oil deeper into the cells. Yes. You know, that's how you can infuse your carrier oil. I just wanted to be clear on what that infusion was, because you're basically infusing a carrier oil with an oil from a plant material, whether it's the leaves or the seeds or the shrubs. That's what that infusion looks like.
Yes.
Yeah. So do we have any questions from the audience so far? I mean, I know we can talk about essential oils all day, but I want to open up the chat and just make sure that anybody that has any questions has an opportunity to ask them. And then ladies, do you all have any thoughts about, while we're waiting for people in the chat, any thoughts about any of our essential oils that may be able to help with focus or fatigue or memory, any of those types of conditions that people may be dealing with?
Well, peppermint is the go-to oil for energy, focus, just to give you kind of a wake up. And yeah, I think that is an oil that everybody should have around the house, because not only does it help with, again, focus and fatigue, bringing a certain amount of energy to you, but it also helps with many other things around the house, like spiders and ants and all kinds of critters. You know.
Well, regarding focus, I know peppermint is used by a lot of students to help them in their studies to stay focused and alert. So I do know some teachers who use diffusers in the classroom to help their students stay focused with the lesson, as well as to stay focused on taking their test, that way. So peppermint is a really wonderful essential oil for alertness, and if you have to study late, it's a really good essential oil to inhale to keep your mind on your books and your studies as well. So I just wanted to add to what Dr. Betty was asking or saying about peppermint.
And I would even add eucalyptus to that as a stimulating oil. I know some people that have said that it helps them relax. For me, it's a very stimulating oil, so I likely wouldn't use any type of eucalyptus or peppermint on my feet or inhaling in the diffuser, because for me, it's a very stimulating oil. Just like how CBD affects different people differently, sure. Essential oils affect different people differently. We have studies that show how essential oils can affect the general population, but everybody's body is different.
It's different.
So you may have a different response or a different reaction.
Dr. Joy, I see a question. Okay. There's several questions. One is, what do you say you use on your feet? So
okay, so any essential oils can be placed on your feet. When you're using them, say there's an essential oil that you don't particularly care for the smell of, but you like the medicinal properties that it offers. A good place to put that oil, just like our grandmothers put Vicks on our feet, a good place to put that oil is on your feet, because those pores in your feet are so large that essential oil can absorb better into your body. And if you don't care for the smell, then you really don't have to deal with that smell. I believe the one that I said I put on my feet was the Essential Defense. And I like doing that, especially in these times, even with my daughter. So I like doing that, especially in these times, to just kind of arm my body with protection from the germs that are around. So, and I noticed a big difference when my daughter was in preschool specifically. I noticed a big difference in her coming home with sniffles when I would faithfully put it was thieves oil at the time because it was a different company, but I would faithfully put that oil on her feet versus days when I forgot. And daycare is just teeming with germs. So I definitely use that for her and for us. And I just like to use that as a protective mechanism. But any of these oils, I would put any of them on my feet to allow them to kind of get through to my bloodstream if I didn't want to put it in the diffuser or I didn't have time.
We have another question from Elaine. Do you have oils for joint pain, inflammation?
Yes. So in addition to our amazing CBD line, if we're talking about essential oils specifically, our peppermint, our eucalyptus, tea tree can address some inflammation at times, but our peppermint and eucalyptus, I think, would be excellent if all you had on hand was peppermint and eucalyptus and you had a carrier oil to add to it, or if your skin can handle it neat without a carrier oil, apply that to those joints or areas of inflammation, and you'll begin to feel some relief. That is part of the reason why that peppermint is included in some of our topical preparations, our Extreme Relief Cream, and in our Dr. Rita's rub. So those are excellent in terms of anti-inflammatory and for pain.
What are good essential oils to use during pregnancy or nasal congestion?
So in pregnancy, the safest way, in my opinion, is to diffuse your oils, because when you're applying them topically, not only are they, penetrating your bloodstream, but they're also penetrating the baby's bloodstream. And not to say that these oils are poisonous or anything, but you're dealing with a little small baby, and you don't want to overwhelm their senses, overwhelm their systems. So the safest way is to diffuse that, or maybe put it on a tissue and smell it. But I wouldn't recommend ingesting any peppermint oil while pregnant, as well as while breastfeeding, because it can slow down the milk production. So that's one little fun fact that I learned when I was pregnant, but it can slow down the milk production. So I would just recommend that if you do have any nasal congestion, diffuse it, maybe put a couple of drops in some boiling water and kind of let the vapors get into the air around you. Mm-hmm. Ladies, do you have any other suggestions?
No, I agree completely.
Yeah, that would be about it, because there are some oils that should not be used while pregnant at all. So
she wants to be careful.
To consult an expert before using any essential oils while pregnant.
I see a couple other questions. Outside of diffusing peppermint for focus and energy, what other areas would you place the peppermint?
Well, I kind of mentioned before when I had some indigestion, I would rub my lower abdomen. Peppermint is seen as what's called a hot oil. So I would use a carrier oil to dilute it if you know your skin is sensitive. Whenever I've had a stomach upset, eat something that didn't agree with me, or my time of the month, 1 or 2 drops of peppermint on my lower abdomen. I tend to rub in a circular motion for a little bit. Maybe that just makes me feel better. I don't know. But the peppermint does relax any type of cramp, or it also, in terms of discomfort from indigestion, can help relieve some gas. So peppermint is a natural when it comes to indigestion, and depending on the severity of cramps. Everyone has different levels of cramping. So those are a couple other ways to use peppermint. And I also put it in tea. I take, peppermint's pretty strong, so real peppermint's pretty strong. So 1 drop of peppermint, if you will, you can make a hot tea. Dr. Rita is always reminding me, she takes a drop or 2 of peppermint before her workout and during her workout to reinvigorate herself. Mm-hmm. She'll rub it on her clothes. She'll activate it with her hands. She'll smell it. And that helps keep her going with her workout, but it also infuses a beautiful aroma of peppermint. So she's got a great entree to talk about peppermint oil and the Wakana products. People asking, what's that great smell? You don't hear that question often when you're working out. So
Right.
Those are some other uses. I mean, ladies, I'm sure there's others.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can also use it for headaches.
Mm-hmm.
To again use a bit of a carrier oil, but to place it, rub it in the nape of the neck, behind the ears, and you might even want to put a bit on the temples, and depending on where your headache is. But those are generally some good places.
Out of one more for us. For those of us going through change of life, which I am one at this time, I do use peppermint on the back of my neck. And it does help cool me down.
Yes.
And it's important because other things happen when everybody's hot around the color. So peppermint is good for that. You can create a peppermint spritz, but you want to avoid your eyes, obviously, because of the hotness of the oil. But peppermint is a lifesaver when it comes to cooling sensation.
And it's so ironic because it's a hot oil. It can give you that sensation on your skin.
Yeah.
But then if you're hot outside and put it on the back of your neck, or create a spray bottle with maybe a little bit of witch hazel so that that peppermint oil can disperse throughout the water. You got a little spray bottle and it's, get rid of that personal summer. Let's see what we have. We have a couple more questions. Define neat again, please.
Well, neat is using the oil as it comes out of the bottle without diluting it. So that's like saying straight with no chaser.
Oh, I like that. Right, no chaser. That's right.
That's what it is.
That's right. What's good for an earache? And can we put essential oils in the ear?
You don't put any oil in the ear. If you recall, when I was talking about the black seed oil and the earache that I had, I put it behind my ear. I put it in front of my ear, and the small amount that I had left on my finger, I just took it and I just blotted it in the outside of the ear canal. But you don't want to drop any oils in your ear.
Got it.
Ever.
never ever. I'm sorry, go ahead, Dr. Joy.
No problem. I'm looking to see if we have more questions.
While you're doing that, I did, excuse me, want to bring up the fact that in mixing, since oil and water don't really mix, a good way, especially if you're going to infuse your tea or your water, a good method to utilize is to take just a small amount of honey or agave or something of that nature, and put a drop in and stir it around, and that will help to disperse the essential oil so that it doesn't just sit on top of your beverage.
Right. Because that, and to that point about water and oil not mixing, if you get it in your eyes, please do not use any water to try to get it out. I'm speaking from personal experience. No water. Use whatever carrier oil you have. Don't worry about how you look. Just slap it on your eyeball, because that's going to pull that burning out much quicker than water will, because it's not pulling anything out. Bad experience, y'all. Bad experience.
And that actually holds true with putting it on your skin. If you were to use it neat and felt like, oh, this is burning or it's hot, add a carrier oil, and that will diffuse it and cool it down immediately.
Absolutely. Let's see. Go ahead, Karen.
Someone was asking for a list of what oils are good for what. Like a complete compilation list. And I'm chuckling because there are hundreds of oils. And we try to compare the essential oils that we're talking about to the Wakana products and what's in our Wakana products. So the ingredient lists are on, if you go to your back office, or if your customer is listed in the directions of the ingredients, which oil is in which product. But to compile a list, that's an awesome task. So we would try to help. We want you to help narrow down what usage, I guess, you really want to help you. So we probably will have, if you have something specific and you don't have your question now, you can always put your question in the Facebook group as well. And we're happy to follow up with you in that manner as well. I think someone else also asked about, I think it was hormonal sweat, and does peppermint work for underarm hormonal sweats too? And I don't quite know the answer to that. Do either one of you know about putting peppermint for your underarms?
Underarms.
I imagine, I don't know specifically the answer to that question, but I would imagine that since it does have the cooling properties, that it could help.
Yeah.
If there's a hormonal imbalance there, our CBD can help to bring the body back in balance, so that can help with the hormones. Peppermint on its own, though, not sure if it'll help with the hormonal piece, but the heat under there for sure.
Well, I was, I guess, confused as to whether they were speaking in terms of taking it internally, excuse me, or utilizing it under their arms, which is not a good idea, because that is a very hot oil, and that is very sensitive, area.
Yeah, with the shaving and
I have, anywhere where there's hair like that, I've made the mistake of putting some peppermint in some of those places, and oh boy.
Yeah.
I couldn't wait to get the carrier oil to slap on to cool it down.
Yeah.
So
go ahead, Karen.
I was going to say, so we're back to Dr. Joy's recommendation of using your CBD to help balance out your hormones So that's your tincture, right? We're talking about in terms of under your tongue, be pretty religious about taking that. That'll help with the homeostasis of your system.
Exactly.
Because I do use the tincture routinely. I'm on a really serious regimen with all these hormonal changes, and take your gummies as well to assist, just really regulating your whole system. So you don't have to think about it necessarily as just being topical to that one space. I'm just trying to think what other remedy you could use for that, but I'd have to do a little bit of research. So I'll have to get back to you, Letitia, on that.
We have one question in the Q&A, and then I wanted to give any of our medical advisory board who is on, if they've had any experiences with their patients with essential oils, I want to make sure that they have an opportunity to speak on that. But this one is, can I put the Essential Defense in my hot tea, or would you recommend another oil when you're experiencing a tight chest due to bronchitis? I have an idea, but I'd like for you all to be able to chime in as well.
The Essential Defense. I would not put the Essential Defense. I haven't really used it internally. I would a drop in my hand, activate it, and cup it over my nostrils and inhale. You could also put it in hot water and again let the vapors go up into your nostrils. You could also put it on your chest with a carrier oil, especially if you are have very sensitive skin, right on your chest, which would help to open things up. Even though it's external, it's going to go into your system. Anything you put on your skin is going into your system. So please be careful what you put on your skin.
And
it's just your skin. It's connected to the rest of your body.
Right. And as far as the Essential Defense, I mean, I've even used Essential Defense on aching teeth because of that clove oil that's inside of it. I've used clove oil on its own if I've had a toothache, but because Essential Defense does have that clove in it, I've dropped a couple of drops in some water and created a mouthwash. As far as the bronchitis, I have put it in my tea. So that's something that, like you said, to your point about dropping it on the honey and making sure that allows it to evenly disperse into the water. That's something that I've done.
And I know some people have put it on their toothbrush when they are brushing their teeth. And I do believe you can use it with a capsule, a veggie capsule for ingestion. And that could help in terms of some of the bronchitis.
But we're talking about the Essential Defense?
Yeah.
Okay. So because of the oils that are in there, I think you would definitely want to limit the amount if you were doing it in a capsule or even a
oh yeah, 1 or 2 drops, nothing big, even with a carrier oil with those drops. Yeah.
Because that veggie capsule is going to give you such a small amount anyway.
Say that again.
The veggie capsule is going to be a small amount, so you don't need 10 drops inside of that veggie capsule. You should have 1 or 2, as Karen stated, and like you said, not using too much, and then filling the rest with the carrier oil before you close the capsule.
Now, another thing that I have done with the Essential Defense is to put a drop in a carrier oil and place it on my throat. And what is left, I just take it and I whisk on the inner aspects of my nostrils and then just inhale. And that also helps to not only clear the passages, open them up, but also give you that relief, that expansion, so to speak, in your lungs. So that's another thing that you might want to try.
Yeah. Yeah, our products are very strong and potent, our CBD products, and we're really blessed to have such a combination of products that are in tandem with multiple essential oils. So all of this natural medicine we have, if you will, it's an oxymoron, but it's the best way to help keep our bodies in balance, but also help put them back in balance if we're ever, our immune system's weaken or what have you. So hopefully that answers the question.
I believe it did. And we have one more question that can be answered quickly. And then if anyone on the medical advisory board, I see Dr. Daniel and Dr. Tyus on here. If you all have any final comments, or Dr. Rita. The last question that we have in the chat is, can you take black seed orally? And that answer is yes, I have.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I know, taking it for a multitude of reasons. There are so many reasons, so many even studies about how black seed oil can be taken. So yes, orally, yes, you can. Dr. Daniel, hi. Oh, you're still muted.
Essential defense.
I'll say, I've got my defense right here.
Yay.
About to take it. I've got a little congestion just from allergies, and I've got a little piece of tissue that I can place a few drops on and inhale it, and it always does the trick. So I've got it out, about to do that as soon as this call is over.
Yes, essential defense. I love it.
Dr. Rita?
Amazing. You ladies were absolutely amazing. I just got off the plane, but I'm on call, as I always am on Wednesday night. But great information. Just to let you know, black seed has been such a blessing to so many patients of mine that are diabetic. It really has assisted in normalizing their blood sugars, along with the CBD, the Hempranium 500. A personal story in my family: my son has horrible allergies. I took him off of dairy. I put him on Hempranium 500, and I made him do 6 drops of black seed under his tongue in the morning and night. My son does not have allergies anymore.
Awesome.
Amazing. Black seed is something everyone on this webinar needs to have. You need to have all of our essential oils, but black seed does everything. I can't name one thing black seed doesn't do. And then peppermint. Peppermint is absolutely my best friend. I personally put 1 drop of peppermint, just 1, in my immune defense tea. That peppermint is potent. You only need 1. Like Karen said, I will take peppermint. I work out at 4:20 in the morning, so I need everything to wake me up. So I'll take that peppermint, I'll rub it on my clothes, and I will inhale it. Use my hands as a diffuser. I also put the peppermint on the soles of my feet, the palms of my feet, the soles of my feet. Like Dr. Joy said, those are the largest pores in your body. So if you want to get any essential oil in, put it on the soles of your feet. You ladies were amazing. Thank you so much. Like I said, I just got off the plane. I'm at work now, but God bless all of you. This was so informative. And I want to really impress upon all of our business partners and our guests to order the Defense Pack. The Defense Pack has what you need. Karen said we are entering not only the influenza season right now, but COVID numbers are going up. So the Defense Pack has all the essential oils. It has the immune defense tea, has the first defense, nasal defense. It has everything you need at a 10% discount as well tonight. So you want to get that entire pack. You do not want to have your family, your home not covered during this
That's
flu.
right.
So thank you, ladies.
Thank you, Dr. Rita. All right.
Everybody for the questions.
Yes, it was awesome. Thank you, all of our business partners. Thank you, all of our guests. Thank you, all of our medical advisory board. You all were amazing. Dr. Tyus, I do want to give you an opportunity to speak if you'd like, and then we can bid everyone adieu this evening.
Yeah, I was quiet because everybody was saying about the black seed oil, because I use that too on my feet because I was suffering from sweaty feet from all the running. So that has helped out. So that's it.
Okay. Awesome, awesome. Well, I'm so glad we got to get into everybody's Zoom call this evening and talk about our love essential oils. So you all have a great evening. All right. You all have a great
Good
evening.
night.
Good night.